What's up guys, I'm FEH Pass and welcome to another Resplendent review. This time I'm going to be taking a look at Delthea, going to be going over how she is doing right now in the game and how Resplendent stats benefit her, and also going to be going over a lot of builds for her. Obviously, if you don't have FEH Pass, you could still use these builds on your regular Delthea, but I'm just going to be using this opportunity to go over some of the older units. So with that said, I hope you guys do enjoy, and let us begin.
When my brother sees me all dressed up, maybe he'll finally stop treating me like a little girl.
Delthea is an infantry blue mage, and when she was launched back in 2017, she was definitely a pretty good unit, but as time went on, being 5-star locked definitely hurt her a lot, and her weapon refine is also nothing really too impressive. Dark Aura is a 14 might tome which gives +6 attack to adjacent melee allies for 1 turn, and the weapon refine is going to be giving her +5 attack and speed during the combat if she's within 2 spaces of a melee ally. So the primary condition of this weapon is completely outclassed in modern times. We've got Eternal Breath on Fae, which gives +6 to allies within 2 spaces without any kind of condition. She just needs to be within 2 spaces. So as a buffing tool, it's not really all that efficient. And when it comes to the weapon refine, the restriction isn't really the strict, not really hard to have like a melee ally within 2 spaces, but it's just an unnecessary thing. And there are just more consistent and better inheritable weapons at this point compared to this weapon refine. So Dark Aura has really not aged well. It's not a very good weapon refine, honestly, and she can make better use of many of the inheritable tomes, as you'll see later on in the build section. Now as for the Resplendent stats, it definitely help her nuke harder, and any bit of speed is really nice on an offensive unit like her, especially because this is a very speed oriented metagame. So that's definitely pretty good, but she's still gonna be pretty frail on the physical side. She can be compared to herself, Fallen Delthea, who's a free-to-play unit in the Grail pool, and she definitely, can hit harder and be a bit faster than Fallen Delthea. But overall, Fallen Delthea's Death Tome is just much better. It gives her +4 to all of her stats in both phases during the combat. And the penalty for that is 4 recall damage, which isn't even that big of a deal because it can actually help you fall into the range of stuff like Desperation, Brazen Skills, and stuff like that. So if normal version of Delthea had access to Death Tome, that would have been really good, but unfortunately she doesn't, and she's just stuck with an inferior weapon in Dark Aura. She cannot even get Aura Tome of Lind, but Lind can get Dark Aura. So in the end, Fallen Delthea is going to be getting a weapon refine probably next year, and she's going to be ending up better than normal version of Delthea, even Resplendent Delthea, because the weapon refine is probably going to be much better than whatever Dark Aura can offer. And at max merges, she can have access to more Dragon Flowers, but as I said, at the end of the day, Fallen Delthea is way easier to plus and merge being a Grail unit, and she's also in due for a weapon refine. Because Resplendent Delthea is in the 5-star locked pool, it's a fair game to compare her to other 5-star locked mages. The recent one, Guinevere being an example, is just sad to see because Guinevere, while having pretty good offenses, can also function as a mage tank because of her stellar resistance and the fact that she's got mage effective tome. So yeah, keeping up with the new 5-star locked blue mages is going to be really hard for Delthea, while also facing competition from her fallen version. So overall, Delthea can definitely nuke harder, can definitely function as an offensive unit, but being a 5-star locked unit definitely hurts her a lot. And the fact that Fallen Delthea is soon going to be getting a weapon refine for her Death Tome is just going to be making the Fallen version much better and more accessible. And we have seen time and time again when there is an accessible version of the same unit, kind of like how Ares to Eldigan or Eliwood to Brave Roy, the easily available version is always going to get used more, and it's just in general easier and better for most people. So I really wish she was not a 5-star locked unit and she had access to the Death Tome of her Fallen version. FEH Pass users are going to be getting 1 copy of her, and if you just want to build her up on a budget, then you could definitely go with the Fury Desperation build. Otherwise, you could also go for her as a buff bot by having a Link skill and by having a Tactics Sacred Seal. So this could be used in Arena Assault to just buff up your allies, but honestly, someone like Faye is much better buff bot in a sense because Eternal Breath is just easier to work with. And I'm going to be going over some of the premium builds, but obviously you could also run this on low merge Deltheas if you do want to invest heavily into her. So of course, attack speed push 4 is going to be a fantastic slot skill, and with Joint Drive attack and Dark Aura, she can also provide her allies with +10 attack essentially, so that is really great. and because of her high attack stats, she could definitely utilize something like Heavy Blade. Like I said, Dark Aura isn't the best tome. All of these options could be run with Dark Aura as well, but it's not going to be as good as some of these inheritable tomes that we have got. Blair Fox is a pretty nice inheritable tome from Ileana, and it's a consistent tome. In the player phase, she's always going to be inflicting -4 debuff to all stats of the foe that she's facing, so that is much more consistent than Dark Aura's condition of requiring to be near a melee ally. So you could definitely go with the Fury 4 because it just works really well with the quad debuffs of the tome, and Time Pulse is a really good option with something like Iceberg, because it just makes Iceberg a 2-turn special, which you could trigger in the Desperation range with Flashing Blade. She could also be used in Aetherite's offense as a Vantage unit with a Blade Tome, so her damage output is going to be really good because of her high attack stat, but keep in mind that we have a lot of units who have got lull skills, so it is going to be really annoying for her to get past those, so Blade Tomes have gone down in their effectiveness, and I speak as someone who has used Blade Tome Nino so much in Aetherite's offense. With Steady Impact, you can also have more physical bulk, and this can allow you to have better longevity in a sense and better bulk overall, which is definitely lacking on Delthea. So with a Fox Tome, that is possible because you do enjoy the -4 attack debuff on the foe, so this could be run even on Aetherite's defense if you want to use her like that. But Steady Impact is definitely a really good impact skill in general if you want her to have better bulk. Spooky Sensor is a really nice seasonal weapon which has got Fury built into it. You could combine this with Fury 4, and basically the chip damage is going to allow you to fall into the range of Desperation and Brazen attack speed in one combat, which is really amazing. So that's really great because Delthea definitely appreciates being in the Desperation range. Flora Guide is also an excellent weapon from Summer Loot, who was a 4-star focus unit, and whenever she's going to get rerun, she is going to be a 4-star focus. So Flora Guide provides you with -5 speed and resistance debuff within 2 spaces of Delthea, which can also benefit her allies, and it's also really good for her. So you could use this with Desperation and Attack Speed Push 4. Attack Speed Push 4 overall is a really good option for her, and you could also run her with Mirror Impact and Iceberg. So you could stack the debuffs of Flora Guide with lull speed resistance, even though I'm not really the biggest fan of it because she's quite frail on the physical side. I kind of prefer Desperation, but still it's an option that you could go for if you want to have that Iceberg damage. Now, while Flora Guide is a really good weapon, I feel like Juicy Wave Plus is such an underrated inheritable option because we have got many good slot B options now, so it's really good to free up your slot B by having Desperation in your weapon. And Delthea is the kind of unit, as I said, who really appreciates Desperation because of her low physical bulk, so you could have Desperation while also having other effects. Lull Speed Resistance is also a really good option for slot B, and it's a no-brainer. You could also run Special Spiral with Iceberg. The recoil damage of Fury and Push Kill do help her fall into the range of Desperation of Juicy Wave, and you could also run Null Follow Up because she can get definitely very fast, and it's a very good skill to have. So she could pretty much have what Legendary Celica does with Soul of Sophia by having Null Follow Up as well as Desperation. Now, you could also run her with Flashing Blade 4 if you want to have some true damage, so that could be run with Glimmer. And you could also run AoE spam builds, either with Hardy Bearing or without it by running Life and Death 4. I kind of prefer the Hardy Bearing build because even in the in-game content, many times random units can have Vantage, and that can be really annoying, so Hardy Bearing is definitely preferred, and the true damage from Heavy Blade is definitely appreciated. So it can definitely be an option if you're a big fan of Delthea and you want to use her a lot to beat a lot of the in-game content. Hope you all enjoyed the Resplendent review of Delthea. Please be sure to share this video with your friends who are thinking of building her, and I want to thank all of my YouTube members for their constant support. If you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and a comment, helps me tremendously, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell because I'm waiting for YouTube sub boxes to actually work, just like Delthea has been waiting for her brother Luthier in Fae. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.